while ordering late-night snacks for my boyfriend. I followed a popular internet joke and messaged the delivery driver to check up on him. He quickly sent a photo. "Your boyfriend seems to be cheating." A woman opened the door. I was furious and immediately took a taxi to catch him in the act. But on the way, I encountered a thug, was dragged into an alley and brutally eliminated. My boyfriend was devastated and arranged my funeral. He never married and showed no signs of cheating. When I opened my eyes again, I was back to the night. I ordered takeout for my boyfriend. I immediately blocked that delivery driver and had a new one deliver the food. But I still received a call. "Miss, her boyfriend seems to be living with another woman." Hearing the delivery driver's voice through the receiver, a violent shudder ripped through my body. In my past life, it was this exact phone call that sent me spiraling. I had hailed a cab in the dead of night, desperately rushing across state lines to the city where my boyfriend, Miles, was stationed for a work project. But I never made it to his apartment. Steps away from his building, I was dragged into a blind alley by a group of men. I was attacked. I was eliminated. The attackers left almost no evidence behind, and the case quickly grew cold. It was Miles who refused to let it go. He hired the country's most elite private investigators, liquidating every asset he had to fund a relentless manhunt. There. If I hadn't taken that out-of-town project, you wouldn't have missed me. You wouldn't have come looking for me. He had wept at my funeral. His voice shattered. "It's my fault. I caused your death. Even if I have to sell my house, even if I have to sell my own kidney, I will find the monsters who did this to you." He was entirely consumed. By the time he was barely 30, his hair had turned entirely white from the agonizing, sleepless years on the road. When the perpetrators were finally caught, Miles buried me in his family's private estate, claiming me as his wife and death. He lived the rest of his days utterly alone, guarding my memory. There was never another woman, never a whisper of fidelity. Remembering all of this, heavy, suffocating ache bloomed in my chest. Miles had loved me with a devotion that transcended death. And yet here I was, having dared to doubt him. I abruptly hung up the phone. I didn't know why this new delivery driver, a completely different person from my past life, since I had purposely requested a change on the app, was still trying to smear Miles's name. But in this life, I didn't care what anyone said. I would never doubt him again. After washing my face, I curled up on the living room sofa, letting the quiet dark of the apartment wash over me. As I sifted through the fragmented memories of my past life, suddenly the front door clicked open. My best friend Blair stepped inside, shaking out her umbrella. She froze when she saw me in the dim light, her eyes widening. "Claire, why are you still just lying around? Should I be doing something else?" Meeting my confused gaze, Blair bit off the rest of her sentence. Her eyes started to the side, a fleeting, almost imperceptible shift. Then she forced a bright smile. "I just meant with a thunderstorm outside. You know how terrified you are of lightning. I figured you'd be pacing a hole in the floor, not lounging like a cat." Tone was warm, dripping with that familiar protective sincerity. But my heart turned to lead. She was lying. Blair, Miles, and I had been inseparable since our freshman year of college. We were the quintessential trio, bound by promises of lifelong loyalty. I knew Blair just as intimately as I knew Miles. At split second, I dart. That was her tell. I opened my mouth to press her, but a piercing ring shattered the silence. My phone, an unknown number. I moved to decline it, but Blair was faster. She snatched the phone from the coffee table, swiped accept, and instantly hit the speaker button. A gruff, gravelly voice echoed through the room. "Look, lady, I'm only speaking up because I saw the happy birthday hubby note on the cake box. Guy who took this order, he had his arms wrapped around some other girl. It wasn't exactly friendly. Don't let some trash guy play you for a fool." Before I could process the words, a notification chimed. A video file in my messages. The footage was shaky, shot from the hallway. A door opened just a crack. A man reached out to grab the takeout bags, and a woman was clinging to his bicep, pressing herself against him in a cloying, intimate way. When the man lifted his chin to thank the driver, the hallway light caught his face perfectly. It was Miles. My brow furrowed. The air in the room felt suddenly very thin. What on earth was going on? The caller ID was blocked. No name, no number, just an anonymous call. And the video. It was too perfect, too well lit, too well framed. Was this even real? Was Miles actually cheating on me? While my mind spun, Blair slammed her palm onto the glass coffee table, her face twisting in fury. That scumbag. How dare he do this to you? She grabbed my wrist, pulling me up. Come on, Claire. We are driving over there right now. We are going to catch that cheating jerk and his little mistress. Dead to rights in that bed. He is going to look you in the eye and give you an explanation. She was practically dragging me toward the door. I was still numb, stumbling in her wake, when Blair suddenly doubled over with a sharp gasp. Oh my God. It hurts, she cried out, dropping to her knees, her face draining of color. A chilling wave of déjà vu washed over me. This was exactly how it happened in my past life. Blair. I had been absolutely enraged by the infidelity, insisting I go confront him, promising to drive me herself. But right as we reached the front door, she was struck by a sudden, agonizing bout of stomach cramps. I couldn't stop throwing up. So I went alone, and I passed away screaming on the asphalt outside Miles' apartment complex. A terrifying, pitch-black theory began to take root in my mind. In my previous life, the detectives eventually concluded that my death wasn't a random mugging gone wrong. It was a premeditated hit. I had been lured to that specific location. But the most maddening part was that the police never caught the mastermind. The attackers they arrested had taken a vow of silence to protect whoever hired them. We did it on our own. It has nothing to do with anyone else. I had spit at the judge. Give us the chair. We don't care. So who is the puppet master? I squeezed my eyes shut, fighting the nausea rising in my throat. I didn't want to follow this thought to its logical, devastating conclusion. Air was still groaning on the floor, clutching her stomach. But between her winces, she was looking up at me, urging me, pushing me out the door. Beneath the feigned pain, her eyes glittered with a dark, impatient anticipation. Every word of outrage she had spoken on my behalf suddenly echoed in my ears, not as support, but as a death warrant. I slowly looked down at her. I forced my breathing to slow, keeping my voice utterly level. Blair, why are you so desperate for me to leave the apartment tonight? I watched her face carefully. Why are you so absolutely certain there's no misunderstanding? Why jump straight to the conclusion that Miles has betrayed me? The color vanished from Blair's lips. She stared at me, her mouth slightly open, entirely speechless. My heart dropped another agonizing inch. A heavy, suffocating silence filled the room. My phone lit up again. A FaceTime call from Miles. He answered. His face filled the screen, handsome and glowing with that soft, familiar affection. He offered me a gentle, teasing smile. Hey, babe. Did you order me midnight snacks? Miss me that much? He leaned closer to the camera. I saw the weather app. It is pouring back home, isn't it? You hate the thunder. So I figured I'd stay on video with you. Keep you company. Looking at his tender expression, hearing the soothing cadence of his voice. It had only been a few minutes since I woke up in this timeline, but it felt like an eternity had passed. Tears prickled the corners of my eyes. I wanted to spill everything to him, but before I could even form a syllable, a woman's breathy, teasing giggle drifted from the background of his end. Babe, let's do Iceland next month, okay? I stared at the screen, every muscle in my body locking up. In the corner of the frame, just for a fraction of a second, I saw a cascade of long, golden blonde hair. The next second, Miles' eyes widened in sheer panic. The camera jerked wildly as he practically sprinted out of the room, slamming a door behind him. It felt like a bomb had detonated inside my skull. The ambient noise of the apartment faded into a high-pitched ringing, Through the phone, Miles's voice stripped with manufactured concern. Claire, honey, your face just went completely pale. Are you okay? Blair had crawled up beside me. She saw the whole thing. Her face flushed crimson with rage. Without asking, she snatched the phone from my hand, hung up on Miles, and began pacing the room, hurling every curse word in the English language at him. When she finally ran out of breath, she looked at me with hesitant, pitying eyes. She pulled out her own phone and let out a long, heavy sigh. Claire, do you understand now why I wanted you to catch him with your own eyes? I wasn't going to tell you this. She unlocked her phone and pulled up her private message thread with Miles. She held the screen out to me. My eyes widened in absolute horror. The screen was filled with paragraphs of sickeningly sweet, obsessive texts, all from Miles to Blair. Blair, that night at the freshman mixer, you were the one I wanted to ask out. But you started talking to that guy from the football team. So I settled for Claire instead. I haven't felt anything for her in years. Honestly, touching her makes my skin crawl. If it weren't for the fact that you pulled away, and the only way I could see you was by staying close to her, I would have dumped that frumpy bore ages ago. The timestamps were damning. Even just moments ago, while he was supposedly comforting me about the thunderstorm, he was texting his devotion to my best friend. Blair, I'm just playing a part with her. You are the only one I love. When I get back from this trip, I am ending things with Claire. I am coming for you. My hands shook uncontrollably as I tapped on Miles's profile picture in her phone. I checked his number, his handle, his linked social accounts. It was him. No fake accounts. No hacks. The man who shared my bed. The man who claimed to love me had been telling my best friend. I disgusted him. Thick, hot tears spilled over my eyelashes and splashed onto the screen. We had been together for almost a decade. How had I been so completely, utterly blind to the monster hiding behind his smile? But the math still didn't make sense. If he despised me, why did he sacrifice his youth, his sanity, and his wealth to avenge my death in the past life? Was it the butterfly effect? My decision to stay home tonight change his feelings? Or was he always cheating? And the tragic devoted widower routine was nothing but an elaborate, calculated cover-up? Claire sighed, wrapping her arms around me in a tight, suffocating hug. Claire, I didn't know how to tell you. Stuff like this, it destroys friendships. Once the truth is out, things are never the same. That is why I wanted you to see it for yourself. But if you don't want to go confront him now, we don't have to. Just know that whatever you decide, I am here. I will always support you. I offered a hollow nod, murmuring something non-committal. I pulled away from her, walked into my bedroom, and collapsed onto the mattress. I felt like every drop of energy had been drained from my veins. Too many puzzle pieces were scattered in my mind, and none of them fit. Was Miles cheating? Why did Blair lie about expecting me to be awake? Who was I supposed to trust? And the most terrifying question of all, who was the mastermind who paid to have me eliminated in the dark? Suddenly, a loud, urgent knocking echoed from the front door. Helen, Miles's mother, bustled into the apartment, her face glowing with breathless excitement. She held a small, velvet box in her hand. Claire, sweetheart, I have something for you. She set it on the table, her smile tight and practiced. Miles mentioned you've been feeling insecure about your place in the family, so I thought you should have this. The box popped open. Inside was a simple silver locket, tarnished and worn. Not diamonds, not platinum, just an old, cheap piece of jewelry. It was the kind of thing you'd find at a pawn shop. Helen's smile sharpened. This belonged to my grandmother. She gave it to the maids to wear. I thought it appropriate. After all, you and Miles haven't married yet, and you have no family of your own, no dowry, no connections, just like the maids who wore this. I stared at the locket, my energy running cold. This wasn't a gift. It was a message. You don't belong here. You never will. Helen checked her watch, her eyes darting toward the window. Well, I must be going. I have an appointment. She turned to leave, but paused at the door. Oh, by the way, Blair mentioned she was feeling unwell earlier. Is she doing all right? My energy ran cold. She knew. She knew about Blair's stomach cramps. But Blair hadn't told her. I had been with Blair the whole time. She hadn't called anyone. So how did Helen know? Unless they had planned it together. Unless they had rehearsed it. And the appointment. What kind of appointment did she have in the middle of the night? In a thunderstorm? I watched Helen leave, my heart pounding. As the door clicked shut behind her, I noticed something on the table. Next to the locket. A small key card. A hotel key card. Miles's hotel. How did it get there? Helen must have dropped it. But why would she have Miles's hotel key card? Unless she had been there. Unless she had been in his room. Unless she had arranged for that woman to be there. The pieces were falling into place. Helen had set up the fake cheating scenario. Helen had arranged for the delivery driver to lie. Helen had given Blair the fake texts to show me. And now Helen was leaving. Because the trap was set. Because tonight was the night they were going to eliminate me. Again. As soon as the door closed, I pulled out my phone. I needed to talk to Miles. I needed to hear his voice. I needed to know the truth. But before I could dial, my phone buzzed with a new message. From Miles. Claire, I need to see you. I'm coming home. My heart leaped. He was coming back. He was coming back to me. But then another message followed. Something just happened. I think my mother is involved. I stared at the screen, my hands shaking. What? How? Another message appeared. That woman in my room. She was a client, but she was acting strange. She kept asking about you. About us. When I pushed her away, she got angry. She said something about how you wouldn't be a problem much longer. I didn't understand at first. But then I found this. He sent a photo. A bank transfer. From his mother's account. To an offshore account. The same account that paid for the attackers who eliminated you in my past life. I've been tracking it for years. I never thought it was connected to her. Until tonight. I think she hired someone to eliminate you again. I think she's working with Blair. I'm coming home. I'm coming to get you. Don't let anyone in. Don't trust anyone. Claire, I love you. I've always loved you. I've never loved anyone but you. The woman in the video was a client. She was trying to seduce me. I pushed her away. That's why I ran out of the room. That's why I was so panicked. I would never cheat on you. I would never hurt you. I'm coming home. I'm coming to get you. We're going to end this tonight. Tears streamed down my face. He knew. He had just figured it out. He was coming to save me. Just like he had tried to do in my past life. Just like he always would. I looked up to see Blair standing in the doorway. She was watching me, her eyes dark. She had seen the messages. She knew I knew. Her mask slipped. The fake concern. The fake friendship. The fake loyalty. It all vanished. In its place was pure, unadulterated hatred. You figured it out. Her voice was cold. I thought you were too stupid to notice. I thought you were too blind. I guess I was wrong. She stepped closer, her lips curling into a sneer. Do you know how long I've waited? Do you know how many years I've had to watch you two together? Watch you play house. Watch you pretend to be happy. When Miles should have been mine. He should have been mine from the start. I was the one he wanted. I was the one he loved. Until you came along and ruined everything. She laughed, a bitter, hollow sound. Your mother was right about you. You're nothing. You're nobody. You're just a foster kid with no family, no money, no future. Miles deserves better. He deserves someone like me. Someone who can give him everything he needs. Someone who can help him build an empire. Not some pathetic little girl who's afraid of thunderstorms. I stared at her, my heart breaking. This was my best friend. This was the person I had trusted with my life. And she had been plotting against me all along. She had been working with Helen to destroy me. She had been the one who ordered my elimination. I felt a wave of nausea wash over me. How could I have been so blind? How could I have missed the signs? The lies. The manipulation. The hatred. It had all been there. I just hadn't wanted to see it. Blair pulled something from her pocket. Her phone. My eyes widened. She was making a call. She was texting someone. "I'm sorry, Claire," she said, but she didn't sound sorry at all. "I really am. But I can't let you get in the way anymore. Miles is coming for you. And if he finds out the truth, he'll never forgive me. He'll never love me. So I have to get rid of you. Once and for all." She tapped on her screen, her fingers flying. I watched her, my heart pounding. Who was she texting? What was she doing? Then I heard it. Footsteps in the hallway. Heavy boots. Multiple people. They were coming up the stairs. They were coming for me. Blair smiled, her eyes cold. "They're here." She moved toward the door, unlocking it. "Just like last time. You're going to go out there alone. You're going to meet them in the alley. And this time, there won't be any witnesses. No evidence. No justice. Just another tragic accident." She reached for the door handle. "No." I lunged forward, grabbing her arm. We struggled, falling to the floor. Her phone skittered across the room. The footsteps were getting closer. Louder. Faster. They were almost at the door. I scrambled to my feet, running toward my bedroom. I needed to lock myself in. I needed to call the police. But before I could reach the door, the front door burst open. Miles. He stood in the doorway, his chest heaving. He was soaking wet from the rain. His eyes were wild with panic. "Claire," he shouted. "Get away from her." Blair scrambled to her feet, her face pale. "Miles," she said, her voice trembling. "You're not supposed to be here. You're supposed to be at the hotel. I told you to stay there." Miles stepped into the room, his eyes locked on Blair. "I know everything, Blair. I know about you and my mother. I know about the texts. I know about the delivery driver. I know about the attackers. I called the police. They're on their way." Blair's face went pale. "What? How?" "I saw the bank transfer," Miles said, his voice cold. "I traced it to the offshore account. The same one that paid for the attackers in your past life. I called the police before I left the hotel. They're already downstairs. They've arrested the men you hired." Blair's hands shook. "No," she whispered. "This can't be happening. This can't be real." She looked at me, her eyes desperate. "Claire, please. You have to believe me. I didn't mean to hurt you. I was just so jealous. I was so in love with him. I didn't know what I was doing. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry." I stared at her, my heart heavy. I wanted to believe her. I wanted to think that she was just misguided, that she had made a mistake. But I knew the truth. She wasn't sorry. She was just sorry she got caught. She was just sorry her plan had failed. She would do it again if she could. She would eliminate me again if she had the chance. "Save it, Blair," I said, my voice steady. "I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear your lies. I don't want to hear your excuses. You're not my friend. You never were. You're just a jealous, manipulative monster." Blair's face twisted with rage. "Fine," she screamed. "If I can't have him, no one can." She lunged toward the door, trying to escape. But Miles was faster. He grabbed her arm, pinning her against the wall. She struggled, screaming and cursing. "Let me go. You traitor. You liar. You were supposed to be my friend." Miles ignored her, his eyes finding mine. "Claire," he said, his voice soft. "Are you okay?" I nodded, tears streaming down my face. "I'm okay. I'm okay now." He pulled me into his arms, holding me tight. I buried my face in his chest, inhaling his scent. He was here. He was real. He was safe. "I'm so sorry," he whispered. "I should have figured it out sooner. I should have protected you better." I shook my head. "It's not your fault. You did everything you could. You saved me. You always save me." We stayed like that for a long time, holding each other in the rain-soaked apartment. Blair was still screaming in the background. But I didn't care. I didn't care about anything except Miles. Except us. Eventually, the police arrived. They arrested Blair and took her away. They arrested Helen too, who had been waiting outside in her car, coordinating with the attackers. Miles had told them everything. They had been watching the apartment. waiting for the right moment to intervene. It was over. Finally, it was over. Miles and I moved away after that. We left the city. We left the memories. We started fresh. We got married in a small ceremony. Just the two of us and a few close friends. No Helen. No Blair. Just us. We built a life together. A happy life. A peaceful life. And every night, when I lay in his arms, I thought about how lucky I was. How lucky I was to have been given a second chance. How lucky I was to have found love. True love. The kind that transcends death. The kind that survives betrayal. The kind that lasts forever. I never forgot my past life. I never forgot the pain, the fear, the darkness. But I also never forgot the light, the hope, the love. And I knew, deep in my heart, that no matter what happened, no matter what challenges we faced, we would always have each other. We would always be together. Forever. And that was enough. That was everything.